So thank you so much for being here. Be mercy, because I'm a boomer, and the last time I did something technical was in the beginning of the dinosaurs era. So, but you know, just to keep in contact with the technical world and to stay in the actual reality, what is happening in technical things. For me, it's quite important not only to stay on management. Since 20 years in the past, I left the technical side and I went to go to management, operations, you know, these kind of things. So, but I try to keep in touch of what is technical and what is happening in the world. For me, Frida is a wonderful tool. Ole, you are a top professional in the world. I love you. Leon from Orange team in Objection is another person that needs this kind of thing. And Sergi Pancake from Radari is the same. They are three relevant persons in my opinion. They had good ideas about how to do reversing, how to do different approaches to applications, mobile applications, and these kind of things. Okay, my main interest in Frida is not in mobile, okay? My interest is in heavy operating systems, in Windows and Linux, okay? But, of course, you need to play with some applications, some Androids and some iOS to understand fully the tool and see what you can do with that, okay? So let me go with the introduction. You must ask yourselves a question: why are you here? And reflect about this question, because it's quite important to understand why we attend conferences, why we go to places where other persons are sharing knowledge. One of the answers, in my opinion, is because learning about a thing is like this ton of hours. And when a speaker is giving you the knowledge, you are reducing the effort to this funnel, you see? So attending conferences, going to formal education, informal education, hacking, trainings, these kind of things, you save a lot of time, you improve your abilities with a low-cost approach and not expensive, because at the end, the money you pay for the ticket for a conference is not the value you are getting for the conferences. You get the idea? But there are many other reasons. Networking, sorry. It's very important to understand that in the professional world, it is not only about being the top in technical things. You need to be connected with other persons, okay? If you are not connected, you don't exist in the market, in the industry, okay? Very, very important. Don't get the idea that being the top hacker in this vertical thing is the way to go to be in the market. It's very important. And it's something we enjoy, we love to do that, okay? But it is necessary to do the other thing. You need to connect with other persons, you need to stay visible in the industry. For a lot of years in Spain in particular, I'm not sure if it's the same in other countries, but in Spain in particular, for many years, it was looked like when you were extrovert, you were not very good technical. This is a stupid and silly thing, okay? You can be extrovert or introvert or whatever, and you can be good or bad doing technical things, okay? But being extrovert is having a really powerful trend in your personality, because you can approach to others and communicate. If you are introvert, don't mind about this is good or bad, because it's just your personality. You cannot do anything about your personality, okay? But you will have a problem, you will face a problem to connect with other persons. So you need to do an additional effort to be in the industry, to have a branding, a personal brand, and this kind of thing. So reflect about that, because everything is not about the technical thing. In this track, yes, okay, sorry, but get these ideas because it's very important. And about me, I will be really quick. Oh, sorry. Well, you have my contact data here. Someone created this NFT in OpenSea with this photograph, so you can find me in Twitter and blah, blah, okay? In the past, I was working in AI digital security in the time where Mark Mayfried, Barnaby Jack, they were working in this company. Today is called Beyond Trust. One of the best experiences in the world, being able to connect with these persons, it was fantastic. Mark, I'm not sure if you know Mark Mayfried in person, he's the CTO from Beyond Trust. Is one of the best persons I met in my life, and I have a lot of good recalls from this era. I was for a while in PricewaterhouseCoopers in risk and technology risk, in Ferrovial, one of the biggest companies in Spain that is very famous this week, or, okay, you know. Today, I'm one of the organizers of RootedCon, and Carlos, Bea, and other people in the team, you know, we are creating something relevant here in Madrid, working together, connected with other persons, you see. I have two companies, Propaganda.is about propaganda and counter-propaganda. It's one of my main interests today. Propaganda is toxic and nasty thing, and we need to create tools and ways of doing to fight against these kind of things, okay? And Be Real Talent, that is about psychology and personality, psychometrics, okay? I'm very proud of this medal from law enforcement agency in Spain, the Guardia Civil, and I have another prize that for my career. You know, when someone is giving you a prize, a mention or whatever, a recognition for your career, they are saying you must retire, okay? So this is my last talk in the world, okay? I won't do any other talk in any other place, okay? So very important for me, this one. I will send a lot of spoilers, so if someone has missed one of the movies from Star Wars, I will break everything in the history, okay? So this is something that is always on my mind. I'm very worried about Darth Vader. You know Anakin Skywalker, before being Darth Vader? Okay, Anakin was a slave. He was saved by the Jedi, you know, but what the fuck? The Jedi were saving the kid, but not the mother? What the son of a bitch? What is this? You left the mother as in slavery. What is happening here? This is the people, we pretend they are the good people, okay, in the movie. But okay, Anakin is taken from the place and he's developing a career as a Jedi, but always having fear. He has fear about danger that can happen to his mother, to his family, son and daughter, you know. So the only way that Anakin finds to fight about this fear is to take power. More and more and more and more power. Power in any way he can use the power to save his family and the people he loves, okay? You are Anakin Skywalker. Everyone in this room is Anakin Skywalker. In the moment you have your hand in the laptop, you are taking a weapon. In the moment you move and give a step approaching mafias or selling exploits in black markets and these kind of places, you know, you are becoming Darth Vader. And this is very important because being here is because you want to be in the right side of the line, okay? So remember Darth Vader. Well, go. Why Dirty Frida? I spent a lot of hours doing things with Frida, and many times I get in a loop of this thing is in this way, and I spend 20 hours, 40 hours with a silly thing. So get out of this. Not everything is is done with a DBI or with a reversing tool or whatever. You can take advantage of other silly tools that you can use in a moment and save a lot of hours that you will spend trying to hook a stupid message in Android that is never appearing in the logcat or whatever, okay? So don't underestimate the power of using ADB just to do stupid things in a mobile phone, okay? For example, I will take the Diva, you know, the Diva application is a vulnerable application you can test with, okay? There are many, but this one is funny for me because it has interesting approaches, okay? So in the second part of the talk, I will show you a keylogger in Windows just with Frida, okay? That is very interesting because in the moment I was developing the talk, Defender and other security tools, they were not taking Frida's server as nothing dangerous. So if you deploy a gadget or a Frida server in a remote Windows machine with Defender, fantastic, okay? You can do a lot of things in remote. So I'm in this version, not in the latest, okay? Because I prefer to work with version N-1 always, if I can. And I have a lot of scripts, and I don't want to mind about if something is broken, so I will stay in the older version, okay? So how to save time. Many times you are trying to find an intent, a message, an interaction with the mobile phone that is not appearing when you are trying to hook, okay? So don't wait for it, or don't try to find an API or a Syscall or whatever. Just make the phone do things, okay? So this is the emulator is here running, okay? So this is the Diva application running. I will assure that I'm root and these kind of things just to save time. Give me a second just to check everything is working and the bridge is not, sorry. Okay, good, and, sorry. Okay, typically I rename the Frida server and typically I compile my own version, okay? But this one is the standard one you can download from GitHub, okay? So this is not something strange or you can modify, just the typical version, okay? Give me a second. Not sure if this font size is good or, yes, good. Okay. Give me just a second to make sure everything is properly configured, and let me get back to the presentation, okay? Sorry. Here. So now I have the Android device bridge running as root, and I have Frida server running on the, I'm not lying. Yes, it's running, okay. So next is Objection. Don't waste time decompiling APKs when you can go directly to Objection and make magic with it, okay? So the first thing typically you will do in a mobile phone is to identify the package name. So this is something in GitHub or Stack Overflow or whatever, you can do that, okay? I have prepared several scripts just to not to take more time and set this in, well, I show you, I will perform a cut just for you to see what it's doing, okay? It's an explore of the application, and the application is running there, you see. This is very vulnerable, has a lot of vulnerabilities, so you can play with everything. I will go directly to the input validation number 2, that is quite interesting, okay? And you have here the input validation, you can blah, 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 and put things. Typically, it is trying to open in an URL, okay? So blah, 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 okay. I will delete this. I spent a lot of time with several applications with Frida, trying to find the proper intent or the proper syscall or the proper API that the application is calling in the background. And at the end, it's more effective just to launch by yourself the movement with tab here, put the text here, and do that. So typically, you go to HackTricks and see how to do these kind of things with Objection on with Frida itself. I explore the application, you see, and now I can, for example, list activities. So you will see the intents that you can find there in the application. For example, Android is fantastic having the autocomplete, okay? So you go for hooking, you do list and activities, okay? So you have there the activities. The next thing you will do is to explore every activity and try to find something interesting, function, something to replace with a hook, and these kind of things, okay? And you will spend a lot of time. Next, typically, you will try to search methods and these kind of things, okay? I won't go on that on detail. You see here how to get the tools. Objection, if you don't know, Objection is an awesome tool. Frida is fantastic, but Objection is an awesome tool, better even than many other tools you can find, okay? So what I want to show you, I'm not sure if everyone knows the auto-generation of the hooks from Objection. This is a fantastic thing. If you go and say Android hooking, you see the first option in the autocomplete, generate, okay? And copy here the, I'm not sure I will be able to copy that. Sorry, I will go to the shell. Well, wait, I'm opening another terminal, sorry. Let me get the package name. I can't believe that. I don't take the text of the, sorry. I will get out of the presentation and copy directly from there. Give me a second, sorry. Just here and, okay, so You can go for, as I said, Android hooking, generate, and I will paste here, okay? Here, okay. Simple, sorry. I forgot to put the simple. Okay, this one. Now it will work. So here, if you see, this simple thing with Objection will auto-generate all the hooks you may need for an intent, for a class, for activities in particular. Don't waste time decompiling and trying. It will be very effective. You will save a lot of time, okay? So this is good because at the end, whenever you want to be effective decompiling or attacking, sorry. Go here again. Here. Whenever you are going to invest a lot of time in doing the reversing or doing DBI on an application, you many times get in the loop, as I said, okay? So here you get the example. It's an empty hook, but you can put whatever you want here. And it works. It's fantastic because it saves a lot of time. And then ADB is quite useful. If you need something to happen, don't try to find a message or something that is happening with the communication, the internal communication in the backplane that the mobile phones have. You can unchain events like key presses or mouse tabs of these kind of things. It's just a matter of, see this automator. You know the automator in mobile phones. You can generate an XML of all the objects that you have in the screen in this moment. As you see, I have an edit text and input field here. With the generator, you export an XML, and you can find the coordinates of every single component that is in the screen. Okay, so in one hand, you have, I will spend 20 hours doing the reversing, identifying all this, or in the other, I will locate the stupid position of this edit text and inject the text automatically, okay? So with the automator, I can show you the results. This is the dump that this has. You get the bounds of the component, and you can just launch a tab and the text directly there, okay? So you know this is vulnerable in this field. I will go for the screen, sorry, and pull this in this side. I have automated it, so I will leave the remote. Give me a second. Here, okay. So if you see, I have this send text to host, okay? That is, we'll put this line. This is vulnerable. It is not validating the input, so you can read whatever you want in the mobile phone, okay? So if I execute, click view, it will tap on the screen to make sure you are in this input. So click. Now I'm clicked, you see, the click view. The button, did you see that it flashed? Okay, so I can, for example, position the cursor in the edit text, send the text, see, and then click event, and you get there the local, the host files, okay, from the Android. You don't know how many hours I spent trying to hook functions, trying to go directly for the messages, trying to interpret the messages when doing that with ADB was so silly, so easy, and saving a lot of time that today I'm combining this kind of techniques. The very first thing I do is go for Objection, generate all the skeleton of the hooks, create the JavaScript, try to identify main intents, try to position objects, click things, and this kind of things. So this was the solution. Okay, good. You send the tabs, you get these kind of things. Again, you can export the XML with all the components on the screen with the bounds where the elements are. So just put a tab within this range, okay? And this is happening, okay? So good. Think about all the tools you have that are not in DBI or deeply within Frida. I'm not sure how much time it's left. Okay, I see. Okay, so we are working, this is just something I put as a challenge, how to develop a keylogger in Windows using only Frida server and being capable of connecting to this Frida server in remote. There are many approaches to this. I have found many projects in GitHub, but this is mine, okay? So I will go directly to my PyCharm, okay? You can read it, okay. This is the keylogger in Python. You connect to the Frida server in this IP in this port, okay? Get the device manager. I'm assuming everyone knows a bit about Frida, okay? But when you use a Python API, you need to take the device you are working with. This is a Frida server or a Frida gadget that is injected wherever in the application or in the remote operating system. This was my target, just to not only MPass, but any password manager. My idea was to take the keystrokes of every password manager, okay? And then you create a script that is defined on top. You launch, and this is the keylogger in terms of Python. Okay, let's go for the script. Let me see where I have defined that. Okay, here. So, what was the main problem doing the keylogger? Let me get back to the top. Give me a second. The problem with Windows APIs and Frida is that you need to create the objects. So you don't have, for example, a class that you import directly and you get all the objects and the fields aligned and these kind of things. You need to create the objects, okay? So I have put the documentation of every single API that I took in the keylogger. Okay, you need to create native pointers. So you need to point your JavaScript context to the native context of the Windows application, okay? So then I created a list. Well, I not created the list. I stole this list from a GitHub project. You get all the identifications for the key codes, for the scan codes of the keys on the key app, okay? So I can recreate them. And here, you are looking for the exports. And in every DLL, you get the export name, you get the function, and you need to get, of course, the parameters, but you need to recreate the objects because many times you can cast with Frida. You have a Java cast in many cases, but in Windows and Linux, it's not so easy to cast these functions in different operating systems. So you need to reserve memory, to prepare the memory to receive the object that is coming from the scan codes, okay? And then I created several tools just to unhook whenever I was hooking to be able to remove the hook quickly, just to be silent as far as we can, okay? Then I get the messages from user 32 and get the messages, okay? And then let me go back, go down, sorry. More APIs, more functions. Here you have the APIs and the objects for several things that are happening, because in Windows, getting keystrokes is not as easy as I receive the keystroke directly. You need to get one class that is converted to another class, and you get the details there. And then you create native callbacks, because many things are happening, and they are unchaining events that you need to receive in a callback, again, in a JavaScript context that is pointing to a native context in Windows, okay? And then this is the easy part. In the moment you have the functions mapped to the JavaScript context, it's just a matter of executing and getting everything. So let me get down, and this is the keylogger. Okay, it's just a dirty thing with a set timeout that is getting the keystrokes, and you can intercept whatever you want. Defender is not noticing anything, I can promise. You can test. I will share the source code, and you will test by yourself. And why I wanted to give you this speech about hooking in Windows, creating a keylogger in a difficult way with Frida, okay? When you have many other options that are already done in several languages and other platforms. It is very important to stay on the hacking state of mind, okay? Try to do different things. Try to stay out of the mobile applications with Frida. You can use Frida in wherever the environment you want. I will give you just a quick example, and I will finish the presentation, okay? In a huge company I was working in the past, they were having a lot of problems with a legacy application, a very expensive legacy application that no one was maintaining. It cost a lot of millions of euros every year. And the main problem was that they were processing credit card numbers, PANs, okay, and they were appearing in logs. Logs that were in the console of people that were in a level O in a call center, you know? So it was a very nasty thing in terms of PCI, in terms of compliance, and these kind of things. With Frida, it was 22 lines of JavaScript to obfuscate these PAN numbers, these credit card numbers, in a production server, in a very, very complex platform, okay, saving a lot of millions in this company. So a state of mind of hacking, use the hacking to save money, to create business, to create budgets, okay? Thank you. Questions? Sorry. I will share the source code and so.
Awesome. Thank you very much for this awesome talk. I'm enjoying it a lot. I definitely have a few questions, but I don't know if anyone in the public would like to ask something. Not every day you have Román here giving a talk. Actually, he said this is going to be the last one, so maybe you want to take advantage of this opportunity. But in the meantime, while you think about questions, so you said at the beginning that you are using the version -1 of Frida. Why is that?
I don't like to stay in the state of the art with things. You are the beta tested or whatever is happening there. So I prefer to stay in the past, in the releases. And many times you don't have the option. You need to go to the latest one. Mm-hmm. But if I can do things without entering in the new version, I prefer to stay in the past.
Okay. So you just prefer to not be the beta tester and make sure that everything is going to be working.
You know, I'm handsome and young, but not so very young to do the beta testing for the developers.
So it's very fun that you are talking about Frida in this kind of maybe red team scenarios, because I have never heard a red team talking about Frida. I have never heard about a red team saying, no, we are hooking this process to do this stuff, and we are using Frida in there. I hear it a lot for pen testers, maybe to bypass SL pinning, to bypass root protection in iOS, in Android, but not this way. Do you know why is that? Would you recommend also red teams to start using Frida?
I have bias. I love Frida a lot, and I use Frida for everything. It's like it's the only tool I use typically, you know? I think this is a misused tool in red team because it's a small binary. You can inject this small binary in many places. If you recompile the binary, it's quite impossible to be detected by security tools, you know, machine learning magic tools that detect whatever the fuck. And they don't detect this kind of small processes because they are not doing nasty things that can be detected, okay? Mm-hmm. And with a Frida server, you have a meterpreter on steroids. You know, it's not only meterpreter. You can do whatever you want in the remote, okay? And you don't need privileges at all because you can do this keylogger is not running with the admin privileges or sys privileges. It's in the user space, okay?
Okay. Do we have any question here? Not yet.
If not, I need to leave.
Can I ask you just one last question?
Yeah.
So just related to this last question, you said that Frida is like meterpreted as asteroids. If it's a small binary, it allows you to compromise other processes?
Absolutely. You can do whatever you want in terms of you can hook many things because it is happening within the environment of the user in many places. Of course, there are things you cannot do because you have not the privileges to do that, but it will apply the same to Meterpreter and other tools. But in this case, it is not limited to what is implemented in Meterpreter or the plugins you are adding in post-exploitation. You can just in hot, in something running, you can change the behavior directly because DBI. So DBI applied to red team, in my opinion, is something you should explore and should dedicate some time, okay?
So can you imagine mixing this with the talk Jawa and me gave on Thursday?
What?
We could load a Frida server.
Fantastic. You deploy a Frida server within the Kubernetes or the pod or whatever. This is a killer application, in my opinion.
That would be awesome. It's a really good idea. Well, thank you, Román.
Thanks to you.